I've had a YouTube channel for maybe 10 years now, I think. It's been about 10 years. And I never actually considered making a video, not even once, the entire time I've had my YouTube channel. It's just mainly been used for me just watching videos and enjoying other people's content, things of that nature. Until about, I want to say, 2015, when Star Wars finally came out, or, well, go back to 2012, and when they spoke about how they were purchasing Star Wars and purchasing, more importantly, Lucasfilm and all of its works, and bringing it into the Disney umbrella, everyone had their reservations about it, but mostly everyone just held firmly to the belief that just because George Lucas had sold the company, that it would go to Disney and Disney would then do something with it, and anything that had Star Wars would just be great because George Lucas wasn't doing anything with it at the time. He spoke about how it would take him, 10 years to actually get everything done that he wanted done and do it the way that he wanted to do it. But he felt like raising his family instead. So I can understand why he sold it from that aspect. Then when Star Wars Force Awakens came out, yeah, that was not good. I do have to admit, I was one of those people who, I wouldn't necessarily say I tried to defend the film. More, I tried to make excuses for it and defend the fact that it literally was a rehash of A New Hope. And it didn't really go that well after I started to kind of wake up to it and be a little bit more critical of it after I'd watched it several times. And it started off okay, but most of the people who gave it its pass because it was supposed to be the first film in a trilogy of films, the Disney sequel trilogy. Um, so a lot of people did give it that pass because it was, the first movie that was supposed to lead up to the second and eventually the third and the climax. Um, I gave it its pass because of that. And once The Last Jedi came out, that was just a whole other thing, and that was just completely terrible, completely terrible. And you know, you go online and you basically make your criticism of the movie, and then you pretty much move on. Then suddenly everyone's calling, anyone and everyone who criticized the movie alt-right trolls, and we were Russian bots and things of that nature. And I just find it funny that I'm not a white supremacist. As you can see, I'm clearly a black male. I love Star Wars to death. I always have ever since I first saw it when I was a child. I pretty much fell in love with the entire thing from there. And still, on every occasion, I would binge watch from episode 1 to episode 6. And I know that everyone has their preference, whether it's the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy. I enjoy both of them for what they are, and I would never pass judgment or basically put anyone down for enjoying the OT and not the previous. So from episode 1 to 3, I loved it. From episode 4 to 6, I still loved it. I hold a place in my heart for both film franchises, for the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. But the sequel trilogy is just, it's not good. It's no secret. Everybody has made, 1,000 videos on the subject and another 1,000 videos on that subject and another 1,000 videos. And that's sort of what this is, but it's just my story as I see it, how I'm waking up to it. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers does his thing, and then you have the quartering, he does his thing. And I'm sort of, influenced by them just a little bit, more along the lines of they kind of basically gave me the courage and the tools, I guess you could say, and basically just gave me the courage to actually get up and actually make a YouTube video where I talk about these things, because I feel like as I hate to sound like, a typical SJW, because I'm not. I believe in what I believe, and I believe that everyone is entitled to their own opinions. The media is just 110% garbage with their whole people of color thing, and oh my god, I can't stand that. I literally don't know a single person, be it friend or family member or acquaintance, that actually is black that likes that term. That term is 110% garbage, and it was made by people who have the original sin of being born white. But that's neither here nor there. That's a topic for another video. The main purpose of this video is to basically expose, well, Disney's already been exposed, I don't need to do that, but basically bring a little bit more light to the situation, that not everyone that dislikes Disney Star Wars is a white male or a white nationalist or an alt-right Russian troll or whatever they want to call it. They'll basically spin any lie they can to try and just detract from this fact that no one that watches Disney Star Wars actually enjoys Disney Star Wars. I've gotten into countless arguments with people on Twitter, Instagram, social media of any kind, especially Facebook, and they will literally sit there and defend Disney and defend their choices to death, which they have every right to do. I'm not going to defend that, or I'm not going to attack that, I should say. But the fact that in the middle of one of these debates, I get called a white nationalist and an incel, and then I say I'm black, look at my picture, and when they actually look at my picture, they see that I'm black. I don't get any response after that. The argument is completely over. It's a narrative that basically fries their brains. They can't handle the fact that there's actual people out there that look like me, that are black or whatever color they want to be, religion, creed, culture, it doesn't matter. They can't handle the fact that we think for ourselves. We have our own likes and dislikes and our own emotions, a wide range of them. We don't fit your narrative, Disney, so stop it.